And welcome back, everyone, to Lantern Corps. From John Ballard, we got Courage the Cowardly Dog. What Lantern Corps does he belong in? And yes, I did check to make sure I didn't do this one already. Turns out I had done SpongeBob a long time ago. But, my thoughts could have changed on that from the previous video. I didn't rewatch the video, to be sure. So, I decided to keep the video up. But, it turns out I already did SpongeBob. So I triple checked to be sure that I didn't accidentally do Courage yet. And I have not. Courage, man. Who doesn't love Courage the Cowardly Dog? I grew up watching Who Was Gonna Protect Us All the Way? Courage the Cowardly Dog. I'm just walking. Well, what? It was like circling around or something like that. Yeah, we love you. They might be giants. No, never change. Courage is interesting. Because there's a lot on here he just can't qualify for. Like, for example, despite the fact Courage has been down in the dumps before, he's definitely not a Lantern of Sorrow. Like, that does not work. That doesn't play out right. He's also a Lantern of Happiness, despite the fact he loves, he's happy a lot of the time. He's not perpetually happy all the time. He's actually, his life did not start out very good. He's also really not an Ultraviolet Lantern. He's like not. He doesn't carry that much shame or negative emotions with him, really, apart from being scared half the time. Nor is he really a Lantern of either death or life, despite the fact he loves his life and enjoys his very peaceful life. He's not really... He's trying to protect people, sure, but he's really not like that good of a representation of a Lantern of life. And he's not a Black Lantern either. Like, he's not a devoid of emotion or dead or have died or anything like that. And before anyone says, well, what about... No, watching him mock die and then come back to life when he's like doing his reenactments does not count. So what about other Lantern Corps? What could he qualify for? Well, the boring answer is green. But I actually don't think this is his main core. I think this is probably his second or third option, believe it or not. Because the idea of the Lantern Corps of Will is besides great willpower, you need to be able to overcome great fear. And while Courage does that constantly, fear is also the enemy of will. Which means he is constantly, he is a scaredy cat. Like, Courage is a scaredy dog. He's constantly afraid. So even though he has the courage to overcome it, he still is afraid. So that does not work in his favor. Also, conversely, he can't, so I think he could be a Green Lantern, but holding on to a ring would be difficult for him. I don't think he would be a Lantern of Hope. He doesn't really inspire that much hope. I mean, he does inspire some, but he's not a great beacon of it. Nor does he have a lot of faith a lot of time. Like, he does sometimes he does lose faith until he just has a bright idea. So I don't think that works. He's also not an avarice Lantern. This is not a character who is greedy or just wants more. He just wants the life he has, a peaceful, quiet life. Now, as his saying goes, he could be a Star Sapphire. The things I do for love, which really, when you break it down, his courage, that's where it comes from. It's his love for Muriel. And that love is what keeps him going. And honestly, I think that might be his most dominant core, because he's certainly not a Lantern of Rage. That just does not work. He's very rarely ever lost his temper in a way that Reeve can qualify for it, let alone carrying revenge in his heart. And he's not a Lantern of Fear. Despite being a scaredy cat, he does not inspire great fear, really. Though I think since we did just get the Sorrow Lantern Corps introduced, I think we need a Fear Lantern Corps that's the opposite of being able to inspire great fear, being constantly scared. I think we need a Lantern Corps like that. So I think that'd be maybe like the next option, like an altered Fear Lantern, maybe. And then last but not least, though, is the Indigo Ring. And this is an odd one. I think it's actually even more likely than the Green Lantern, because one of Courage's defining traits is his compassion for many other individuals. His compassion not just for Muriel, but even for Eustace, even though he treats him terrible. Now, the argument can be made, well, he doesn't do that out of the compassion. He does that out of love. But the two are not mutually exclusive. You can tie both of those things together. Compassion does come out of genuine love, and love can inspire compassion as well. So I think you could still make an argument that's still compassion. Not to mention his compassion for the tree. What was it, Foxy and Rabbit or something like that? The episode that dealt with an abusive relationship between the cat and the rabbit, I think it was. And yeah, it's so, and he had compassion for him, despite the fact that she was initially treating him like shit. He still had a lot of compassion for her. The Hunchback, he had a lot of compassion for him. So, to be a lantern of compassion, it either needs to be your dominant trait or you need to be devoid of it. Because it's something that kind of just it's kind of like almost like an antidepressant ring. It completely mellows you out to even. So, and it robs you of your personality too. I would probably say because his compassion, it comes from a sense of love in this case, I would probably say compassion might be his secondary core for him. And Star Sapphire, weirdly enough, fits courage the best because, like he says, the things I do for love. Like, legit, that he does everything he does really out of love more than anything else. So I would probably go to Star Sapphires. But I say that still thinking there are other options to go with. What do you think? Do you think courage could qualify for the Green Lantern, like outright? Do you think he could hold on to a Green Lantern ring? Do you think he could be an Indigo Lantern? Or is there an argument to be made for anything else on this list? Like, I would love to hear the argument for the Black Lantern Corps or even the Avarice Lantern Corps. Like, those, don't get me wrong, make the argument if you can. I think we both realize it's not likely he would qualify. But until then, that's just my thoughts. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Later.